Hey guys, see who's here? Different camera angle, a little grainy, but before I think we had too much light on there. Hoping Nikki's on. I've been throwing some messages your way with your video. Uh, Tire tubes had an issue tonight with a customer. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, rambling on, Maddie. How you doing? Wet down here. My God, the rain is crazy. I don't know how it is up your way, but I picked up a tractor and a mower to work on. I got drenched, totally soaked. But this customer had a Fredan leaf blower, and yeah, it is rain. It's just slowing down here, so you probably have what we just had. But she had a tire that she took, tire and a rim that she took off for push leaf blower. James, how are you, pal? Hopefully everything's good your way. Um, the tire was laying on the ground in her shed, and I said, "Do you want me to fix the tire for you?" And at first, I looked at it, and it looked like the stem, the brass stem on the tire tube. For smaller tires, they have little brass stems on them. Was off. Someone ripped it off. So I said, okay, I'll replace the tube. So I did buy a tube today. It was a 3-piece rim. So it was easy. 3-piece rims are great. That way you can take the hub and the 2 pieces and they're nice. Anyway, I took it off and I noticed I see wire around the bead, the actual bead that holds rim on. The wire was coming out. So by coming out like that, the bead itself was compromised. So on one side, you had a nice bead, 4-inch bead to go on the rim. On the other side, it was about 7-8 inches because the wire had popped out. You just see it looked like a spring. So anyway, I cut out whatever wire was exposed, but there wasn't enough left in there to hold it on the bead. So when I put the new tube in and I put some pressure to it, it blew out like a hernia. It just blew out of the other side of the rim. And I was like, oh boy, look at this. Anyway, what I didn't realize was these little tires, they're like 4-inch tires, very small. They go on a little leaf blower, push leaf blower. They're like $30. I was like, oh my God, I can get a full size tractor tire for that. But anyway, that was my experience after work today. I picked up the lady had a tractor and a push mower, make a few bucks so I can have some more money for my saw. And hopefully get together. I'm hoping what's his name, Nikki comes on, because if you guys checked out Nikki's video, I think it's a 350 that he built, I guess, following all your advice there, Maddie. And yeah, he's usually here most nights. But anyway, look at his video. He had a little bar on it. It almost looked like a 12-inch bar, a real small bar, almost like a bar you see for like carving or a limbing saw or something. But it looks kind of weird on a 350 because it literally looks like a 10-inch bar. So anyway, he was talking to me before chatting, and he's telling me to go with like a 15-inch bar. And I'm like, 15? Do they make 15s? I thought they were all even sizes, 14, 16, 18, 20. I thought it was always an even size for bars. I guess it's how you measure them, but I mean, I always thought bars were always even sizes. Yeah, 16. I never heard of an even. Have you ever heard of even size bars, Maddie? I never heard of even size, 15, 17, 19. I thought they were always even sizes, not odd. Strange. Be sure and tip your waitress. Uh-oh, where'd that come from, James? I always tip my waitress. Actually, I tip my waitresses very good. If I spend, $10, $15 on a meal, I'll tip $5. I mean, I do pretty, I believe me, I have friends of mine that did waitressing and waitering, and I know. So I really know to always leave a good tip. That way, they don't spit in your food, and you always get extra cups of coffee. What do we got here? Making Tracks. Good evening. How are you? Welcome. Visit to hit the like button at work. I did miss the joke. What did I miss? Can I go back in the comments? I'm trying to see if I can go back. Getting back in Matthew. We're all getting back in Matthew at some point in time. But put it this way, I probably owe Matt more than most of you is, but that's okay. That's what friends do, I guess. Anywho, tubes. Funny because a lot of people don't realize there are so many different sizes of tubes. And when you're putting tubes in the tire, I'm just going to give a couple of tips that I do when I'm doing tubes. A lot of people don't realize what caused a leak requiring you to put a tube in. And sometimes it's a screw, it's a nail, piece of shard of metal or something like that. Most of the time, it'll still be in the tire. And sometimes you can't see it from the tread. You can't see it from the outside. So the first thing I do is I dip it in a bucket of water. I see where the leak is, the actual leak, circle it with like a grease pencil. And then I go back in after I break it off the bead and look to see and feel around carefully, because if it's sharp, you don't want to get cut. and see what's there. And sometimes the nail or screw will still be sticking inside from the tread. So you can get a pair of pliers, pull it out, and make sure. Or sometimes if it punched through the tread, it'll be laying in the tire. And the worst thing you want to do is have a foreign piece of something in your tire when you put a new tube in, because when you inflate it, it'll puncture the tube. And then, 10 minutes down the road, you got a flat tire and you're wondering what's going on. So I always tell people, I love tubes, don't get me wrong, but you have to make sure whatever defect caused it is out of the tire. You have to make sure the tire itself is clean. Or conversely, a lot of people use vice grips when they're putting when they're breaking the bead with tire spoons and with screwdrivers and things like that. Well, remember, vice grips will cause burr. Take that burr off with emery. I mean, sand it good, get the burrs off. Make sure, when you take your hand, you don't feel anything, nice and smooth, because when you put a tube in, you rub it against a steel burr, it's going to tear. And you may not see it. And then you fill it up with air and it's just not going to work. So I've plugged tires before, James. If it's like a tractor, garden tractor or something like that, fine, because you're going 3 miles an hour. I mean, you're not gonna, not doing Indy 500. You're not gonna kill anybody or yourself. So yeah, stuff like that, small stuff. Street tires. I mean, when I was younger, I used to do it because I was young and stupid. You'd plug a tire. Back when we had bias plies and stuff like that. We plugged them all the time because we didn't have the money. But nowadays, most tires, if you go to a good tire shop, they'll want to take it off and vulcanize it the right way with the right machinery and equipment. So, my wife, 2 years ago, we got a brand new set of Michelins on our Jeep, and expensive tires. It was like $1,200 for a set of 4 tires. Not a week later, she hits a stack of nails like this, stick nails for a trim gun. And the air-powered trim gun must have been 20 nails in a row, went right into the tire. I said, oh my God, I'm dead. Right between the treads, stuck right into the tire, and she's driving here. I'm like, what the heck is that? Sound like studs or something. Anyway, brought it back to the guy. I figured I was going to get a new tire. He says, no. He said he pulled it through, put a vulcanized patch on the inside. The tire was brand new. Tire had 50 miles on it. Put a vulcanized patch on the inside, did it the right way with the vulcanization and the UV curing and all that. We're still driving them. They're riding great. So, and never a problem or anything like that. So I'm just amazed at the technology and how they seal and all that. So just all I'm saying is, if you have a puncture or something, fix the tire correctly. Plugs will get you to the gas station, but fix it correctly. And the correct way is vulcanizing it. And some tires can't fix. Sidewall punctures and things like that, can't fix them. It's not safe. So just be on the safe side. Bring it to a tire professional and have it done right, especially on a passenger car. Tractor, other story. Plug it, do whatever you have to do. But don't use slime. I can't stand when customers bring me tractors and want me to change a tire and it's got the slime inside. The newer slime wipes off pretty good. It's almost like a powdery stuff. Not too bad. The old stuff is snot. It's disgusting. I'll charge someone an extra $20 if they give me one of those, because it could take me a half hour to clean it. I can't stand the old snot. Timmy, good evening. How you doing, pal? Yeah, the old green slime snot. The old stuff is garbage. The newer stuff is not bad because it's more powdery and it doesn't turn into like slimy snot, and it's easier to take off when you bring it to a tire shop or a mechanic. So the newer stuff isn't bad. What else about tubes? Get the right size. Most time when people put tubes in their mostly front tires on garden tractors or lawn tractors or whatever, sometimes they'll just figure, it's an 8-inch tube, I'll get an 8-inch tube. But there's different sizes to the tubes too. So really look at your tube. If your tire is 16, 6.5, 8, get a tube made for 16, 6.5, 8. There are tubes that will support different sizes, but look on the package and make sure. And tubes are not cheap. Tubes years ago, you spend $3, $4 to get a tube. A cheap tube today is $10. That's not chicken feed, but $10 is $10. But if you can buy a brand new tire for 20 and the rim's good and you can get away with not using the tube, I might spend the extra $10 and just put another tire on, So anyhow, it's make fun of James night. We're making fun of the infirmed? Is that what it is? That's not fun. It's cruel. No, just joking. How we doing, James? We okay? I know you said you're off the tube and everything. You're eating normal now, or actually off the feeding tube, so you're eating regular. So hopefully everything's going well. What's the weather like in Indy? Cold? Well, not cold here. It's actually warm. It's wet, really wet. Big storm coming through. If you look on the radar, it's just total rain. That's all it is here. Hit him while he's Hey, Maddie, when are we coming over for cherry pie? That's what I want to know. It's my favorite pie, and I know you got 17 trees, so just wondering when we're gonna have some cherry pie. Anywho, let's see. Rain. Yeah, everybody's got rain. What's up, Tim? What is going on there down in Georgia, my friend? Anything going on? Where's Nick? Where is Nikki? I'm waiting for him to show up. I want to talk about his 350. And you guys check out Nikki's video. I want you to check out Nikki's 350. Sounds pretty good. I want to see him cut something. But that bar, I don't know. That's sort of like like a training wheels type bar. The thing is only this big. I mean, the bar is, enough to cut saplings down. But sounded good though. Really sounded good. Let me see. Hey, Maddie, is there any way I could look back at these comments? I'm wondering if I could scroll up. Hey, I could scroll up. Okay, maybe I can go back and look at the joke you said. Let's see what we got here. At least someone does. Yeah, I do a stream to keep my fans happy. I don't have many fans, though, James. I got a few fans, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm here all night. That's it. Let's see. Be sure. Okay, now I get it. All right, I got you. All right, now I got the joke. Thank you. All right, I got it. Yeah, no, but it's weird on this Chromebook. There's not a lot of keys on it, Maddie. It doesn't have all the keys like you see on a normal computer because it's not a computer. It's a Chromebook. There's no hard drive. There's no like delete key or anything like that. It's pretty cool because for $179, you could do streaming, live streaming. You can do anything you want on the internet, and anything that Google does or makes is there. It's free. So I really enjoy it. I think it's pretty cool. So he's implying that you're not streaming. Yeah, but you generally have a topic, Matt. You usually don't just go on. Well, sometimes you go on for the hell of it, but most of the times you have something you want to do. I know you're waiting for parts. I mean, you got the 288 in limbo, and you got the 268 waiting for parts. So not too much for you to do right now. Although you sometimes will come in with your electrical type videos. So whatever happened with the inverter? You still waiting on stuff on that? Because I know you had a pretty wild video on that thing. So that was pretty cool. Oh, and the Volvo, we done? Is the Volvo done? It's driving. It's all set. You spent your $4,000 on parts, and now we're ready to roll, or what? So let's see. A bear woke you up in the trash. We have a lot of that upstate Connecticut. I know they have a lot of bears. Yeah, black bears are in our area. We have black bears. Matt, do you ever have any bears up your way? Because I know friends of mine up in like Simsbury and Canton up that way have bears. They walk on their deck. They're looking out their patio door, and the cubs are looking at them through the patio door. It's like, oh my gosh. They just have to watch because they're pets. You got to watch your pets when you have bears. So let's see. Volvo and Limbo too. Limbo meaning it's not driving, or you just don't feel like driving it right now. So anywho, in the yard more than normal. Yeah, that's true. Well, you got the Hyundai or whatever, so you got something, or the Subaru, you got something to drive, so that's all right. But yeah, 2 people or 3 people actually emailed me and said, I will definitely get more subscribers if I do more content video showing to how to do things. And that's fine. I will do that. It's just that I'm trying to see what kind of video editing capability I can get for the Chromebook here, because I don't really have a PC to work on. I have my own laptop that I use for work, but work owns it. So you have to watch what's on it. It's restricted content. So if I ever wanted to download some kind of software, my company would prohibit it. They wouldn't let me do it. So, I mean, I used it for school when I got my master's degree and all that stuff. It was great. It was a great laptop, but stuff like this, they're not going to allow it. So that's why, like I said, I bought the Chromebook. And, if anyone does video editing on a desktop or something, it's fairly inexpensive, let me know what I should buy, because I'm thinking about getting like a small desktop, or even an all-in-one or something that I could do editing. But everyone's telling me get 8 gigs of RAM and the latest and greatest i7 core processor and stuff, but that's $1,000, and right now, money's a little tight, but it's just, I'm just looking for something to help me out with the editing. $3,000 to your truck. Did it get inside? Because around here, a lot of people, when they have food at the state parks, you got to watch it, because those bears will rip your door panel off just to get the food in your car. And it happened a couple of times at Hammonasset State Park up about 20 miles up north of here. So, Runnerbook codes. Yeah, I had a friend, a guy who works with me. He had codes for, oh my gosh, maybe 6 months on his Buick, and took it everywhere, spent thousands of dollars. He ended up going to this one place where he should have gone in the beginning. They were one of the first companies in our area to have code scanners, 20 years ago, whenever it was. Anyway, he took it there. The guy looks at it within a minute. He says, "Here, what's this?" It was the hose going from the intake manifold to the master cylinder booster. It had a valve, like a check valve in line to keep the stuff prevented from backflowing. Anyway, that check valve broke, and the owner, instead of taking it apart and putting a new O-ring in it, which was what the seal was, used like a Permatex. And that Permatex didn't seal. So there was a massive vacuum leak from that fitting, and that caused his engine to throw codes all over the place. And all that work, the guy charged him, I think, $50, put the O-ring in, he was done after spending like $2,000 or $3,000 over 6 months. So it's always something stupid, but you have to go to someone who knows how to read a scanner and knows how to troubleshoot. It's diagnosing is half the battle. I mean, you could have scanners, look at all the codes you want, but if you don't know what to look for, you're not going to find it. So next to the National Forest. What city is that, though? National Forest in Georgia. What is that? Tell the family the price keeps going up. Well, hey, with someone like James, he could take up a collection. He has enough people there, so if everyone contributes $10, he'll be able to buy a nice saw. I don't have a family that's that big. My family's small, very small family. No first cousins, which is kind of sad. But what do you do? The ones you're doing, Maddie, the 268 and 280, those are gonna be keepers, or are you just gonna do them to flip? Because I know you got a lot of them. Be kind of interesting to see that. The 2 Series kind of strange with that square cover on the pull starter instead of having all the round stuff. So, but it's a classic, I guess. What years were those, man? The 2 Series, was that like 80s? I would assume it would be mid to late 80s or something like that, maybe early 90s. Again, looking in the ads, Craigslist and all these ads here, and everyone, their saws must be made of gold because that's what they're asking for them. If you see a 372, it's $700, and I was like, so you call it up. Well, what is it, all rebuilt? Nope, all original, runs great. And I'm like, why are you asking $700? Well, it's worth that much. Well, not to me, but anyway. There was somebody on there that had a I'm trying to think what the number was. 181. Does that make sense, Matt? 181 or 182, something like that. And it didn't last long. The guy had it, buy it now on I don't know if it was eBay. It was buy it now for like $150, and somebody grabbed it. I think it was a 181. But because of the cubic centimeter, the CCs, I figured, hey, maybe I'll try it, But give you a 4-party post date. Yeah, 181. Yeah, it would look cool. I saw it. I'd never seen one before, and it looked like it was mostly all there. And for 150 buy it now, he said didn't run, pull seized or whatever. So who knows? I mean, I think it'd be a decent investment for $1.50. That didn't sound too bad. Let's see. Hard to get parts for? Yeah. Well, everything's starting to get hard, I guess, to get parts for different things like that. What is it? Let me read that, James. 4-party post-dated out-of-state check. Yeah, okay. They'll put your account in limbo for about a month for that one. Well, like the eBay scammers, the ones that want you to, I'll give you $400, but then I'll send you back 100 or two when I get it. I love those scammers on eBay. Those guys are great. Let's see. It's a 288 more or less. Okay. Hey, question though, Maddie, when you're talking those older saws, were a lot of them single ring or were they double ring? I mean, I know different when sometimes if you go one number higher or lower on a particular saw, the only difference is a single or a double ring. I'm just wondering if that was because to lower the price or to lower, the power output. I mean, I don't know. I mean, more drag with 2 rings, you figure you get a little less efficiency and power out of it, But 100 miles north of Atlanta. Oh, Appalachian. Okay. Right. North of Atlanta. Yeah, just curious, because you see, what was it, the 394 versus 5, Maddie, I think, or 371, 372. One's a single ring, one's a double ring. Just curious as to why they did that. I'd love to pick a Husqvarna engineer's brain, ask some of those questions just to see what they were thinking. You're not the guy to ask that question. That's okay. Yeah, but Matt, you know so much about those things, So 371, 372. You're the 394 guy now. I know. Always 394s. But where is everybody? Usually the guys are. It's a Friday night. Oh, you know what it is? Friday night dinner with the family. My I think my daughter went to the diner to pick up food for my wife and my other daughter. I just had some meatballs I had laying around in the fridge. But anyway, yeah, Fridays usually eat out night, meaning diner, pizza, Chinese, something. So 371 single ring. Yeah, I mean single ring less drag, but I'm just wondering though, if you look at a single ring piston versus a dual ring piston, do you get more scraping on the skirt? I'm just curious as it goes up and down, do you get a little more scraping? I don't know. Does the double ring hold it a little more square in the bore? I don't know. We'll see. I mean 371 through 372, one cc. Well, what's different? I mean, it's kind of weird. So, what else can we chat about tonight? This weekend, I'm doing those Mantis style tillers. I have to fix those. There's a friend of mine that donates his time to a community garden, so he needs the tiller. So this is the one where he stripped out the 1224 screw, tried to drill it out and drilled it on an angle. So I had to go in there with a quarter 28 at an angle. I got it to fit and I got it to tighten. But then when I went to start it up, the fuel lines were all leaking and the diaphragms weren't pumping. So it needs carb rebuild, needs new fuel lines. So I'll do that this weekend. Another guy brought me, I think I told you guys a few weeks ago, brought me a tiller, no, about a week and a half ago, brings me a tiller with parts in a bag. And he didn't want gas going all over, so he wrapped them all in painter's tape. So the cube carburetor was wrapped in blue painter's tape. The gas tank and everything was wrapped in blue painter's tape. Everything was in blue painter's tape. So I have to take all the tape off, see what he has, and see what's there so I can rebuild it for him. It would be cold before I get home. 45 minutes. Ooh, 45 minutes from town. Wow. See, with me, I'm lucky. Where I live, I am literally 1 to 3 miles from anything you could possibly want, whether it be a shopping center, a gas station, anything, a hotel. Literally 1 to 3 miles in any direction I can get there. I'm basically 20 to 25 miles from New Haven. I'm 55 miles from New York City. I mean, I'm centrally located, next to Bridgeport here in Trumbull, and nice town. Growing up, schools are good, neighborhood's good. We used to keep our doors unlocked growing up, but can't do that anymore. Just nice area. It's just centrally located. I can go to Maddie's up there. It's an hour away. I can go to Walt's up there a couple hours away. It's no big deal. Get in the car and go. So just a nice central location. I enjoy it. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if I could deal with being that far away from stuff, but close to everything, Maddie. I'm close to Lowe's, Depot, everything. Ace. Actually, I visited an Ace store. Usually I wasn't the biggest fan of Ace, but the other day I visited an Ace store in Oxford, Connecticut on Route 67, across from a friend of mine's house. And I tell you, huge place. It used to be a rock quarry owned by a company called Haynes. They used to be just a excavating company with stone and stuff like that, and they dug out this huge quarry and they started putting stores in there. This Ace was huge. The steel section, it was probably 500 square feet, just the steel section. It was really cool. Chains, bars, equipment, all the stuff. And this is an Ace Hardware. I never really associated steel with Ace Hardware, but I guess Ace is a distributor for steel hardware. So it was pretty cool though. I walked in there and they had a ton of stuff and they had people that knew what they were talking about, which is helpful too. So thumbs up to Ace Hardware. I like Ace Hardware. And they had a full Hillman section. I love Hillman. Anytime you walk into a good store that has stuff that you need, they have Hillman. So any of those little tchotchkes that you need to fix something, a washer, a cotter pin, anything, Hillman has it. I love Hillman. My goal would to have a whole Hillman section in my basement, all 4,000 bins of everything they offer. So that way I could fix anything because I'd have any bit of hardware ever. It's like having a McMaster car in your basement, But interesting. Pork chops on the grill. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds good. But good pork chops, James, like thick pork chops, not that thin stuff. You need a nice thick, on the bone, 2-inch thick chop. That's what I'd go for. Anyway, 268. Yeah, that's okay. What's a 268 worth, Matt? $500? Yeah, nice and thick. Oof. Love thick pork chops. Cut them in half, spread them, stuff them. We used to make them up here with hot peppers. You little bit of little sauce on them, but hot pepper, nice hot pepper pork chop. And you gotta have mashed potatoes though, with a nice gravy on them. I love mashing gravy, as you can tell by my size. What else? What else? What else? Trying to think. We talked last night about Husky using Yamaha motors in a couple of years for tractors, for those that care. Anyone interested in general, like farming, tractor work, stuff like that, check out Chuck E 2009. The guy's got about 500,000 subscribers, and I love his videos. He's just a down home welder. He went to welding school, opened up a welding shop, but he loves farming, so he grows hay. He rents lots and he makes hay and sells it. So just Chuck E 2009. You'll get a kick out of his videos. They're pretty good. What else? What else? What else? The new cat. I think I told you guys we got a new cat. Our cat. We had to have our cat euthanized about 4 weeks ago, and which killed us because she was part of our family for 10 years. So, I mean, it's just the hardest thing to do. I've never had to put an animal down before, and just I don't envy vets for having to do it, but tough. Anyway, my daughter went to it's called Paws, which is they have dogs and cats for adoption. And she picked one up 2 days ago. Its name is Audrey, and she's keeping the name. So we now have a tiger cat named Audrey. So hopefully she's afraid of me because I guess I'm a big guy. And when she sees me, she thinks it's like a skyscraper walking in. So she runs and bolts for the bedroom. But once I leave the house in the morning to go to work, she's out there playing with everybody. So I'm trying to get her acclimated to my size and who I am. And hopefully she'll come around. So I enjoy animals. I had a dog for 12 years when I was younger and love animals. And I think every family should at least have one I know Maddie's got the bird. I don't know if you have any pets other than the bird, Maddie, but you got it. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to come home and have an animal to greet you because you know what? They're happy every time they see you. They don't remember if they had a bad day or something. It's always a good day when they see you. So thumbs up to all the pet owners. I love pets. Let's see. Actually, James, we have her ashes on a shelf in the living room with a nice picture of her. So we'll always remember her. We love her to death. And, she got sick and we had to put her down. But, it was the best thing. She couldn't eat, she couldn't drink. And she was just suffering. And when pets are suffering, I mean, euthanasia is the best thing you could do. I mean, it's sad, but it's the best thing you could do. All right, let's see what else. Oh, I was on Craigslist today, and I was looking for a hood for an Aaron's tractor. I have an Aaron's tractor in my backyard that a customer of mine, they're all friends, customer of mine let it get water in the engine. I don't think he did it on purpose. He had a flood in his backyard. He lives next to a river, and last year when we had these big torrential rains and tornadoes, the river backed up so deep that his tractor was up to almost the middle point of the engine in water, and it sucked in some water into the carburetor. Well, he made the mistake of trying to start it. So when he turned the key, water came out the exhaust. So needless to say, it was, junk as far as him doing something with it. And in order for me to fix it, of course, it would be cost prohibitive. So basically, I sold him another tractor from someone I knew, and I took it. I said, I'll take it off your hands. He didn't care. He just wanted to get rid of it. So anyway, needs a hood though. His son or somebody crashed it into a tree a few times and destroyed the hood. So a guy has an ad on Craigslist saying Aaron's deck and wood. Well, he meant to say hood, but it said wood. So it's a deck and wood, $100. I said, well, don't need the deck, but I need the hood. So I offer him $20. I email him and I say, give me $20 for the hood. People put dogs out on the road. What are we talking about, Timmy? Parvo. Oh, Parvo's tough. I know. That's always, you always hear about Parvo, but I thought Parvo was more a cat disease though than a dog disease. I didn't know Parvo was for dog. I thought it was more for cats. Wow, that's sad. I hate to hear when animals get sick. Anyway, so I emailed him $20, and all day long, no response. So finally, at around 5:00, I get an email saying, I will sell you wood $50. And I'm like, number one, I don't need wood. I need a hood. And I said 20. So I said, now the offer goes to 15 because I don't really need it and I'm not in any rush. So whatever. So he emails me back. You said 20. I said, I did. But then, he comes back and he says 50. And I'm like, 50? I was like, wait, you got the deck and you got the hood. And then he comes back. I offer him 20 and he counters with 50. And I'm like, wait, the deck is worth about 100. And now you have deck and hood for 100. If I said 50, I said, no. So I said 20. And then he comes back with 50. So I say 15. So he goes, what do you mean 15? Well, okay. So we'll see if I hear from him, in another 2 or 3 days when it's sitting there rotting in his backyard. He probably figured $20 would be good because it'll buy him breakfast, so we'll see. I'll probably hear from him. Yeah, tell me about it, James. This new one here is bigger than the one I had. Like I said, don't really know it right now. Don't really know it too well because it's not really around when I'm here because it's afraid of me. But hopefully we can foster a good relationship over time. Let's see. So anyway, hopefully the guy will say, I'll take the 20 for the hood. And that way I can put the hood on, rebuild the engine and sell it to someone who needs a 42-inch, 19.5 horse tractor. I don't know if any of you guys ever deal with Briggs overhead valve tractors. There's a big problem with the engines that you'll see. They're labeled, I think, 14.5, 17.5, 19.5 horsepower. They're usually the triangular looking rounded shrouds with the suitcase looking air cleaner on the side. They have a tendency to blow up the automatic compression release on the camshafts. A lot of people out there, if you ever see them with Craftsman tractors, even John Deere tractors, the L series, you turn the key and it'll go brr, brr, brr. And they say, oh, starter's bad, battery's bad. They change starters, change batteries, same thing. Well, two things on those engines. Valve adjustment. Valves have to be adjusted at 5 thousandths each, intake and exhaust. 90% of the time, it'll cure the problem. If the valves aren't adjusted properly, the compression release won't work properly, and it won't start because you're coming up on all that compression. But when it's not the valves, it is always the compression release in the cam. So what I do is I take the valve cover off. I look at the rocker arms, okay? And as I'm rotating it, they'll be doing this, the rocker arms back and forth, intake, exhaust. But the intake coming up on the compression stroke, a 1/4 inch before it reaches the top of the stroke, will bump. It'll bump about 40 thousandths. That's the automatic compression release. So the quickest way to see on those engines if the compression release on the cam is busted is to look at the rocker arm on the intake as it's coming up on the compression stroke. If you don't see it bump, which is the compression, release, then the cam is bad. It's a $100 cam, not bad. Take you about an hour to take the motor apart and put the cam in. So easy fix. And I've done it on literally dozens of these things, but people think, oh, I'm gonna throw a tractor away. Well, for $200, you get your tractor back. So anyway, oh yeah, valves. And so what the funny thing is, Briggs even recommends on those, Maddie, to check them once a year. So I do check a lot of tractors every year for my customers. I will actually call them up and say, a year's gone by, you want me to adjust your valves? So sometimes I'll get a call, sometimes I won't. But most times, they'll call me up, oh, it's not starting again. So, standard stuff. Yeah, Matty, the 5-horse Briggs, that was the one you took off your father's, I'm sitting on the ground. Hold on a second. There we go. Your father's log splitter. What are you doing? Is that thing running, Matty? I think he had it running, but I think he didn't have a use for it. So you put it on the shelf. So anywho, how's the saw for the race coming, Ken? James, the past 3 weeks have been so busy with lawn equipment. All my customers are calling me up, the landscapers, the homeowners, everyone wants to cut the grass. I haven't had a free minute. Even every other Friday when I have the Fridays off, I'm literally spending 18 hours a day fixing stuff. So, the money's coming in, don't get me wrong, but I just have no time for anything. I have house repairs I want to do and things like that. But at this point, I got to keep my customers happy and my friends happy. So, I'm fixing stuff and I'll be ready. I mean, I will definitely have that saw there. It's in 3 weeks and I will be ready. I have the Friday the day before off. So any last minute repairs I have to do, I'll do. But I will definitely be ready. It's just anyone has suggestions on parts or upgrades or anything like that for this thing. It's going to be an OEM 346 XP conversion from a 340. I have an EL42 and I have an HDA 191. I don't know which one I'm going to put on there, but I have either. I don't have the 359 intake parts yet, Maddie. I don't know if you had any extra ones you wanted to sell. I was thinking about doing that conversion like you did. And I also bought a 455 Rancher side cover, so I get the better adjuster and the better brake cover. So we'll do that. Thank you, Maddie, for that suggestion, because that actually is a better adjuster by far than using the one that goes from the side. The oil pump, don't know if I'm going to change it yet. I have the standard oil pump, which is not adjustable on a 340, but it's adjustable on the 350 and 359 and those. So oil pump, I think, is $38. I mean, I could put one in. I don't know if I have to, but it's something I could do. Nikki Walsh in his video was talking today about the fix for the leak on the 340, 350 oil pumps. I, in the past, have done where I took a piece of cardboard and I stuck it underneath the square part of the oil transfer tube that has a hole in the center that transfers the oil from the reservoir to the pump. And if you shim that out, it will push it tighter against the barrel of the oil pump and will seal it better and it won't leak. And it seems to have worked. But Nikki did something different. Nikki actually took a piece of metal or something or part, I don't know if it was part of the pump or what, but he like bent it and he said it works great. So hopefully he'll chime in and he could talk about that fix, because I know for a fact I have a customer, I think I was talking about it last night, with a 350 or 340. He fills it with oil every time, and every time he wants to use it, the whole case is full of oil. So it'd be a good fix. What do we got here? Looking for a 7-horse Briggs vertical shaft, heavy flywheel. What shaft engine, Tim? 352? 7-horse vertical. For a tractor, Nick? What's it for? I mean, Timmy, what's it for? 7-horse Briggs vertical. 7A's. Okay. What's it for, Tim? For a mower? Push mower? 7, or for like a pressure washer or something? Or a tiller? Not too many uses for vertical shafts. The person that you should talk to on the Briggs stuff is Zippo Varga. He's got all the Briggs walk behind mower. Yeah. Zippo Varga's got all the Briggs stuff. I've got a vertical Honda saying, someone, if they want to come and get it, it's a beautiful engine, GCV 160. I took it off a mower that had rotted all the way and the engine runs great. So that's sitting out in the pile there waiting to go into something. And I think I was telling you guys yesterday about a guy who brought me a Honda mower that he bought Sam's Club in 2003 and never changed the oil. It was the thickest oil I've ever seen. This stuff was like what you saw in the Beverly Hillbillies when they shot and hit the crude, that black stuff. That's what it looked like. It was literally black. You couldn't see through it, and it was the thickness of molasses. And I said to him, when was the last time you changed the oil? Never changed the oil. I said, you do realize this is a 2003. So it's 16 years old. I said, did you add oil? Nope, never added oil. And it was down on oil, but it's amazing and a testament to Honda's quality control that this thing went 16 years with the same 16 to 18 ounces of oil in it and still ran great. So I don't know. Yeah, black gold. I tell you, it was molasses. I couldn't believe it actually ran. And it's just unbelievable. I mean, I may throw some kerosene in it just to drain it out because there's probably muck inside there. But hey, a testament to Honda's quality. I mean, unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. What kind of walk behind mower is that, Timmy? 7 that has, I'm trying to think, 7-horse. Is it a Briggs Quantum, the Quantum engine, or an Intech? Usually Quantums are on most of the mowers that have that blue square air filter. Usually Briggs Quantums. Needs to be 190cc engine for a snapper self-propelled for thick grass. Oh, love snappers. I absolutely love snappers with the disc drive. Is it disc drive or is it a belt drive snapper? I love rear drive. I don't like front drive. I think front drive is a joke. Okay, so that's a newer engine, actually, the overhead valve, 190cc. Which overhead valve motor was that, Matty? I don't. The 5-horse is a flathead. Which overhead did you do? Yeah, disc drive. I love disc drive. The snapper, I've got the rear engine rider snapper 28-inch. I had a 33-inch. I love it. Those things are great. They cut great. They're really, really good engine. Intech. Okay. What did that go on, Maddie? Intechs are decent engine because usually the Intech has the cast iron sleeve in it. So the cylinders last longer. You don't wear it out because it's not all aluminum, I tell you, a lot of people, Troyville, garden tractor. You have a garden tractor? You sure it's a garden tractor or a lawn tractor? Maddie, I got to school you. You know the difference, right, between lawn tractors and garden tractors? You got to know the difference, all right? A lawn tractor doesn't have lug nuts or nuts on the rear tires. It has keys and keyways. A garden tractor will have real axles with either studs and nuts or lug bolts or lug nuts on the garden tractor. Yeah, believe me, when I used to be, I still am, members of the International Harvester Cub Cadet Forum, we used to joke all the time because we were garden tractors. There's lawn tractors, there's garden tractors, and it's almost like talking, Chevy versus Cadillac. Oh, no, you don't have a garden tractor, you have a lawn tractor. And there is a big difference. I mean, a garden tractor starts at $3,000, where a lawn tractor starts at $600. Garden tractors can go up to $5,000-$6,000, and lawn tractors usually end at about $1,500. So there's always proof in the pudding. But the main difference too, when you see garden tractors, most garden tractors have cast iron front axles and not stamped axles or cheap stuff. So, and the decks are usually thicker welded construction instead of stamped steel. So, hey, you get what you pay for with a garden tractor. That's why people buy 30-year-old garden tractors with low hours on them, because they'll last forever as long as you keep oil in them. But cheap stuff here. Hey, you know what, man? You keep oil in it, it'll probably last you forever. I mean, I have so many customers that come to me and say, what's the secret to longevity? I said, oil change, just like in a car. Change your oil every 3,000 miles, it'll last you forever. Who would have thought 30 years ago that now you'd buy a car and you just change your oil, lasts you 200, 300, 400,000 miles. When I was growing up as a kid, when you hit 100, that was the day it went to the junkyard, because normally the paint was destroyed. The seats had the springs sticking up from out of them. The car was leaning to one side because your dad was the only one who drove it. And that's the way it was. 100,000 miles. It was like, that's the time. Odometers never went past 100,000. They went 99,999 because you could never get a car to last over 100,000. Once you approach that 100,000, you're just like, okay, dealer's going to give me $50 for it at the junkyard. It's off. So that's the way it was. So you'd keep a car 4 to 5 years. It hit the 100. Time for a new car. Not anymore. These kids are driving Hondas with 400,000 miles on them. Look at the diesels. These guys driving with 700,000 miles on them, as long as they're keeping oil in them, crazy. What do you got, James? I need to find a weed eater that fits my wife's hands. Honestly, James, what I would suggest, and people are going to say no, but I would suggest one of the electric ones, because you can get them with small footprints, like small handles and stuff like that. They don't weigh a lot, the newer ones. They have a lot of power. They run at like 12,500 RPM. They're clean. You don't have to worry about gas and oil. I would look at the different electric ones. I mean, Steel sells electric, Echo sells electric. Home Depot's got a few different brands of electric, as well as Lowe's. Check them out. I mean, the batteries are a lot less weight than they used to be, so it's not like they're going to be hauling around 12 pounds of garbage. Try the electric. I really would try that if you're really looking for a trimmer, because they're clean, they're easy, and nowadays the string, you just put it in one end, pull it out the other, and it automatically winds itself. I mean, it's unbelievable. Check them out, try them. I have a customer who every year I have to put the string in his trimmer. It's an electric trimmer, but he just doesn't know how to put the string in. I don't know. It's like when you see someone trying to put sewing thread in a needle, that's what he's like with this trimmer. And every year he brings it by, he gives me $10, and I spend 5 minutes and I show him how to do it every year. I have people every year that come by and want me to show them how to start their chainsaws. I said, I just showed you last year. Yeah, I forgot. So I show them. I get guys at work. I tune up their saw. Oh, I can't start it. So I go out there at lunchtime, put down the tailgate on my truck, put the chainsaw on there. Steel. I love steel. You choke it, 1 pull, 2 pull, it pops. Click it, get it up to high idle. Next pull starts. Let it sit for a second, rev it a few times, you're done. And they just don't get it. You show them 10 times, they don't get it. I don't know. Should put it down on paper, I guess, for him. But it's the standard instructions. Although Echo saws first pull. For whatever reason, I don't know why, every piece of Echo equipment I own will start on the first pull. Steel, 3 pulls. You always have to have 3 pulls on a steel. Echo, 1 pull. So crazy. What else are we talking about, guys? Who do we got left? And we only got the top 3 here. We got James, Maddie, and Timmy. Everyone else bailed on us. Well, it's Friday night. You're supposed to spend time with your family, I guess. We'll see. But we'll see if I can get some content done tomorrow. It's going to be a lousy day, though. It's supposed to be, I think it's going to be nice in the afternoon. I think it's supposed to rain most of the morning. I have to go pick up a 1958 wheel horse RJ tomorrow in Old Greenwich, Connecticut. Actually, Cos Cob, Greenwich. Customer, I've had this guy a customer 10 years plus. Nice guy. And he wants it for his kid's birthday party next weekend, and it needs front wheels. It's got an old Kohler K91 that I rebuilt. He wants me to tune it up for him. So that's going to be fun. To fit it in my pickup, I have to take the front tires off because those old little tractors had huge front tires, and it won't fit with my cap. The steering wheel will hit my cap. So I got to take the front wheels off and stick them back to the tractor or the trailer, the bed tomorrow morning, bring that home. So a lot of work going on this week, and I'll see if I can get some videos going. I've got a Toro push mower, needs a carb rebuild. I'll show you that. I've got a Craftsman tractor with the shroud that's off of it, and there's no screws. The guy didn't know, or I think her ex-husband took it apart. I don't know. Got to figure that one out. Let's see. Your family's here in all their glory. That's okay. Good to have family. Family's the best. We're at the top. There you go. Yeah, all the diehards, Anna, watching me. Yeah, that's real fun. Nothing better to do on a Friday night, right? Anyhow, what else? That's about it. I have been getting some emails, though. People have been sending me emails to my kensmallengines@aol.com, just asking, just small questions, tech questions about mowers and blowers and things like that. And one thing that most people are afraid of is fuel lines, especially on 2-strokes. And what I keep telling people with the 2-strokes, I noticed the other day, I was looking at my 2-stroke, I have like a pretzel container that you get like stick pretzels in, and I have all my fuel line in there, my miscellaneous fuel line for 2-strokes. I looked the other day, I have 8 different sizes of 2-stroke fuel line. Imagine that, 8 different sizes. And it's mostly metric, like Echo line, Steel line, but I have Tygon too, because there's certain things. But one thing I did realize, make a video on the Echo, on the tester. Oh, okay. Yeah, I could do that tomorrow, Timmy. That McCulloch, that one that's still breaking my stones. People always tell me, I'm getting a spark. Yeah, those cheap testers suck. Anything will light a spark on those cheap testers, but you get the one with the adjustable gap on it, then you could tell. I actually hooked it up to I have an Echo power head similar to like a steel combi, and I hooked it up to that a couple of weeks ago, and I actually turned out the micrometer adjustment stop because roughly 6 millimeters, a little under a 1/4 inch, simulates the compression of a small engine. So if in regular atmosphere, 14.7, PSI or 14.5 PSI atmospheric pressure, at 6 millimeter gap, it simulates the compression that you'd see in a small engine. I pulled that thing out to almost 9 millimeter and it was still sparking. So I know that coil is good. But the McCulloch, when I did that, it wouldn't even go past 2 millimeter. It was barely any spark. So yes, will it test one of those cheap spark testers? Yeah, it'll light that light bulb all day long. But as far as lighting a fuel mixture under compression, no, the compression's going to blow out the spark and it's not going to fire. And people are like, what do you mean blow out the spark? Well, yeah, what do you think you're doing? You're compressing air. You're pushing air into the cylinder. That spark ignites. You're blowing that flame out. It's not allowing it to go. So Roadrunner, who's here? Roadrunner, I see. Oh, good evening, Roadrunner. How are you? Welcome. We're just rambling on. I've been rambling for, 30, 40 minutes now. And 49 minutes and 18 seconds. Boy, it's been a while. Just, talking about different things. Tim wants to see my Echo spark tester with the micrometer stop, where you can actually turn out the micrometer stop and adjust it. Briggs sells the same type of tester, cheaper. I think they sell theirs for about $16 or $17. They may be $20, but the Echo one, mine's branded Echo. There's different brands. It's made in Japan, but the tester itself is normally about $80. I've seen as high as $100. I think I paid $79 on Bailey's for mine. But I love it because, with a micrometer adjustment, it actually has a set point at 6 millimeter. So, if you make it to 6, what you do is you turn it in so the 2 points are close, and you turn on your engine and it blue sparks in between. And then you slowly pull it back out. And if it goes to 6 millimeter gap, the coil should be good for firing under normal compression. If it doesn't go to 6, it means your coil's weak. So it's a good way to test it. The only thing is it has to be able to fire to test it, unless you've got a good eye and you can see when you're pulling it if it's making the gap. Sometimes I'll take off the recoil portion of a piece of equipment and put a cordless drill on it and spin it while I have the tester on it if it's not enough to start the engine, and that'll produce a spark where you'd be able to test it with that starter. So, but you're slacking tonight, Maddie? Yeah, Maddie, you haven't done a video in a while, so it's been at least a few days for you. Hold on, let me get comfortable again. I was sitting on my floor. Now I'm sitting on my bed. Yeah. The cat's in the other room waiting for the cat to come out. Anyway, where am I? Here I am. All right. But yeah, Timmy, that tester is phenomenal. I love testing coils with it. It's a very good tester. I think I'm trying to think 65 Ford or one of those guys had a good video on it. I think I put the links to it. And last time I did the McCulloch video, I've asked a friend of mine who's a McCulloch guru. He loves McCullochs, to find me a coil for that McCulloch. I actually have 3 of those. I believe it's a 3216. I have a 3216, a 3416, and I think a 3418. They all use the same coil, but the coil's discontinued. I'm trying to find them on eBay, but the guys want tons of money. Yeah, you got the Briggs tester, the triangular looking one, Tim, that's made out of clear plastic, where you can adjust the gap. Or is it a fixed? I think is it a fixed gap in the Briggs one? I think it's adjustable. But the Briggs tester is good too, as long as you can adjust the gap. But I believe the Briggs, it's like a Y shape. It actually comes in and then goes up like a Y. And I believe you can adjust the gap between the electrodes on the Briggs tester, just like you could do with the Echo. But the Briggs tester doesn't have any kind of a scale like the Echo one does, so that you can see what the gap is in millimeter. You can know exactly what the gap is. But the Briggs tester is good too. You can start the gap very small, like a millimeter or so, and slowly walk it out until the spark disappears. When the spark disappears, now you know what the gap is, measure it, and it'll tell you. If it's 6 millimeters or more, it's a good coil. If it's less than 6, then it may have trouble starting in a small engine combustion chamber. So, just a few tips. Started the 350. Which 350? Oh, the this one's hot. Yeah, Maddie, what did you do to the muffler on that one? Did you just drill it out, or what? Because I know, what's the old rule? 80%. I think they're saying is the rule. 80% of the port is what you drill it out to, or something. I gotta look back at some of the videos on that. I look too comfortable. Yeah, I know. I'm sitting on my bed and I'm holding up my laptop. Another thing, Chromebook, very light. I'm holding it up. It's not stressing me out. So, thumbs up to Google Chromebooks. I love them. Let's see. Your electronic tester, like the Merc. Yeah, like the Merctronic. Yeah, it's true. Yep. Let's see. I have a real old one. It's over 40. Oh, wow. Still running a. Oh, are you? Oh, you're still running a screen, huh? Oh, okay. Trying to be safe, huh? No fires. How big the opening? Yeah, just drill some holes. That's all. But you have the muffler crutch on that, right? The one, the 2-legged thing that holds the muffler up to keep it from collapsing. I got to make sure I have one of those, so I don't melt the bottom of the plastics. What else? What else are we doing? Any mods you think would help, Maddie? Let me know. What are you doing for bar and chain? I'm assuming we're going to do 18-inch bars. And what do you have? 325, or what do you have for pitch and width? I just want to make sure I have the same thing you got, so we're comparable. Shoot me an email or text Maddie, whatever. Tell me what you're running, and I'll make sure I get the same thing. But I just want to be comparable. I'd love to. I hope. I don't know the guy's name. Is it what the heck is it? The guy with the dyno, the two guys. One's electrical engineer and one's like a mechanic or something. I'd love to see if they had that dyno up there again and test something out because I'm a mechanical engineer by trade. I used to be anyway, and I love that stuff. I mean, I geek out for all kinds of stuff like that. So, what do we got here? 325, 66, 50. Okay, that makes sense. Now, what bar is on that, Matty? Do you have a Sugihara or something on that, or is it just a standard Husky bar? You know, I have to make a fashion statement, so you got to have a Sugihara, I guess. But we'll see. As always, Matty, right? Everything's available through HL Supply. A little ad for HL Supply on there. Go to Matt's videos, all of you, if you need parts. Go to his link to HL Supply. Give Matty a little kickback there. Help him out. Jesse Grimm. Hello, Jess. Welcome. I've already been rambling for an hour. It's 55 minutes, actually, but I'll still ramble on for a little more. What's the other one, Matty? You got Sugi, and what's the other one? It's another weird name. The one that looks like a bunch of dots on the bar. Is it Forrester? I'm trying to think. There's another one. But I just like the look of a Sugi bar. Sugi's a cool looking bar. But Matty, the one that I tried when I was up there, the As Is, that's what, a 372? I think it was a 372. That was impressive. I really liked playing with that thing. That was fun. But what else? Oh, Sumara. Oh, okay. All right. Yep. Yeah, they got funny graphics on them. They're just cool looking graphics, you know. Some graphics look like the bar's all torn up, but it's not. It's just the design of the graphic on the side of the bar. So that's pretty cool. What are you using for chain though, Matt? What style of chain? Is there any particular style or what? Because some people are telling me there's an Oregon LPZ or LTZ or something like that. It's supposed to be a really durable, hard chain. I just want to make sure I got something decent. Bathroom break time. I say bio break whenever I got to go. Bio break. That's all right. Hot saw. Yeah, it was. I love playing with that thing. That thing, I've never really had a 372 that was ripping like that with the compression and all. It was pretty fun. But yeah, interesting. What do you got coming up? Any logs coming up, Matty? You guys gonna drop anything off? But what do we got here? What's that, Matty? I'm trying to read that. CEO. Is that supposed to say secret? Hard to read. Let me sit up. Because now I feel like I'm being lazy sitting down. I better sit up. Anywho, all right. That's better. Yeah, this weekend, I think I will finally get that thing taken apart this weekend, the 340 and Oregon chain. Yeah, but Jess, which Oregon chain? There's like 3 or 4 different types, isn't there? You know, what type of grind and all that stuff. You know, is it skip tooth or, you know, what type? I'm not a chain guy. I'm like Matty. I'm not a chain guy. I can sharpen them. I have files. I have a grinder. I can do that. But as far as saying the best chain is this, no, I have no clue. You know, if it gives me noodles, I'm happy. But other than that, I think it was Nikki who said to me, file down the rakers a little. I think he said 0.6 millimeters. So 6 millimeter. Yeah, that's only 24,000. So that's about stock, because usually the raker gauges that you buy are set at 25. So 25 is roughly, you know, a little more than 6 millimeter. I think it's 6.3. But anywho, oh, secret. I got you. Now you sound like Elmer Fudd. Secret. It's secret. Anyway. Oh, Maddie, what are you running for gas for that? Are you going to run just canned fuel, or is it a Dr. Rolson's secret brew? Because I want to make sure we're on the same page with that. I don't want to throw in race gas or anything, you know. Although I have used Sunoco, I think it's 100 octane mixed with the Steel Ultra, and I tell you, it runs good. The problem is, a lot of people are buying the unleaded fuel in the 5-gallon containers, say 100 octane from different gas stations, like racing type fuel. And it's good fuel, don't get me wrong, but you have to adjust your carburetor for it because it runs differently. The canned fuel that you get at Home Depot, the True Fuel and stuff, will not run the same. That 90 octane or whatever that you get at Home Depot in the can won't run the same as 100 octane racing type fuel when you mix it. So, people think you just throw it in and magic power. No, you really got to adjust it. Read your plug. I mean, I'm a believer in reading the spark plug, see what it's doing, True Fuel 40. Okay. It's funny. Our Home Depot and Lowe's around here don't have the 40 anymore. It's all 50 in the red container. They don't have the green container anymore. I don't know why. My daughter works at the Home Depot in town, and they said they don't have the 40 anymore. In fact, the last cans I bought were very dusty. They must have had them for a while, but for some reason they don't offer the 40 anymore. I think was it Walt or someone was saying he uses. I think he uses 32 or 35 to 1 in everything, just to make sure. Actually, we do. Oxford Airport in Oxford, Connecticut is a small airport. But the problem is the only time you can use their fuel tanks is if you approach with a plane. They will not sell it to someone coming in with a vehicle. They will only pump it into your aircraft. They won't pump it into a container. So the only option I have here is to go to a Sunoco station in Fairfield, which is another town over. They sell the 5-gallon Sunoco, lead-free fuel. I think it's 98 or 100 octane in a 5-gallon, but it's $15 a gallon. It's $75 for the 5-gallon pail. So I went on that the lead-free gas. Was it pure? I think it's pure-gas.org that shows you where the stations are that have lead-free gas, and it's wrong. The stations that they have listed, a couple of them aren't even in business anymore. So I don't know who you can trust on that. Used to run 67 vet. Don't tell me it was a big block 427 with side pipes and tri-power, was it? The ultimate car, or fuelie, right? Puregas.org. Yep. Is it pure gas or pure dash gas? Don't tell you. No. What do you mean? It was a 427 tri-power? Get out. With the factory turbine wheels knockoffs or what? With side pipes? Now you're going to get me going. Oh, that's true. Yeah, you can get some octane booster. Yeah. I don't know. Some of that stuff's snake oil, though, Tim. I'm wondering what it really does. Oh, tanker to boot. Oh, no. Oh, James, that's whatever. I hate to ask, but what happened to it, James? Let me guess. You sold it to somebody for $2,000 years ago. That's always the way. And you're going to see it next week on Bear Jackson for $450,000. So my first car was a 55 Chevy. I had a two-door station wagon. It wasn't a Nomad. It was called a 210 Handyman. And I tell you, I still know the VIN, A552111582. I remember that because it was my first car. And I look up that VIN number like every week on the computer just to see if it shows up anywhere. Because if I find it on eBay, I'm buying it. I don't care what it costs. It's my first car. I want it back. It was a fun car. 70 LT1 vet motor in it. I had a good time with that car. Went to college with it, drag raced with it, had a fun time. If we start talking about cars we used to have, back in the old days when you could buy Hemis for $2,000, now they're $2 million. Crazy. It's out in the shop. Oh, you still have it? Wow. Interesting. I got to get some pics of that posted, James. I'd be interested in seeing that thing. 67 was a beautiful year, especially if you have the right hood and the side pipes and the turbine wheels and all that. Cool stuff. Who else is here? 4 people. So we just got the standard guys are here. We got James, Tim, Maddie. Who's number 4? Let me scroll up. Who else is here? Oh, Jesse, you still there? You were saying you like the Oregon chain, but I'm just wondering which Oregon chain you like. Yeah, I think it's Jesse. He hasn't posted it or commented in a few minutes, but I think. Oh, Roadrunner. There you go. That's all right, Roadrunner. You could lurk. We're just talking. If you have any comments or any suggestions on discussion, we'll take it because I'm just rambling on. It's been an hour, so just rambling. people are telling me to get more listeners, I have to put in real content showing me working on something. So I was taking suggestions. Timmy said he wants me to do the spark tester. I can do that this weekend, hopefully get that done. Sat in one when I was 6 years old. Tell me, it's funny, the vets that really do it for me, and that they're probably like the worst performing vets. I graduated high school in 81, and the next year, 82, it wasn't quite the anniversary because 53 was the year, but they had a gold edition with turbine wheels and an 82 last of the old, that style of vet. It's my favorite. I just love it. Gold with like the gold interior and the turbine wheels with the gold on it. Just slow as hell. I mean, I think it was 180 horsepower or something with that crappy, what the hell did they call it? Crossfire injection, which was the worst injection Chevy ever put out. But it just, the way the body was, I just love that car. It was a cool car. Oh, you talk about cool cars. My neighbor up the street from me growing up was an engineer at the company where I work now. He had an original 68 Shelby or 67 Shelby GT 500KR King of the Road in that metallic medium green color, all stock, beautiful car. He could have sold it to me. I think he wanted $5,000 or $6,000 when I was getting out of high school. I said no. Now it's probably worth $300,000. I could have killed it. You take it off, Matt? All right, we'll see you. Take care, buddy. We'll talk to you later. And could have killed because he was selling the car because he was retiring, and back then he didn't have Barrett Jackson, all this stuff, internet, so cars were selling for what people thought they were worth. But then my other neighbor next to me was an engineer who designed the shopping mall next to my mother's house, and it's a company called Westfield. You probably got Westfield malls all over the place, but he was actually from Australia, and he worked for Westfield. But he had a 1969 AMC AMX green, the forest green with the rear seat delete and all that. He wanted $4,000 for it in 1981, and that was a lot of money back then. $4,000 was a ton of money, and I was like, ridiculous. Now I could kill. It was all 390 4-barrel, 4-speed. The things we do. 30th anniversary. Oh, 30. Oh, happy anniversary. It'll be my 30th next year. This year's my 29th. So happy anniversary. Best of everything to you and yours, James. Take care. 40th. Oh, wait a minute. 40th anniversary. That's 40th anniversary. What anniversary are you talking about? Oh, the Corvettes? Because I know 53 was the first year. They didn't have one in 83. That was the one year they stopped it when they went to the new design. Yeah, because 83 there was no vet. That was the one year they never had a vet. And 84 was that new design that nobody really liked because it was kind of ugly. But yeah, 82. I don't get the way they do the gens, Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. I don't know. I love the 57 Corvette, which shared design with the 56. I mean, you had the 53, 4, and 5. Those were the same. All 6 cylinders for the first 2 years. 55, the V8 came out, so you had a 55 V8. Then you had 56, 57, which was the same style of vet, except for little differences where the door latches were and stuff like that. Then you had 58, 9, 60, and 61 and 62, where you still had the solid rear end. And then in 63, they went to the independent suspension and had the split window. And then you started having all the Stingrays and all that stuff. And then 68 started the swoopy style, but 68 sucked because they all cracked because they didn't know how to make fiberglass. And then 68, 69, 70, 71, 70. No, 71 was the last year that. Then 72, they were a little different with the side grills and all that, like the Mako Shark side grills. And anyway, I mean, it's what it was. It's what it is. I mean, I like Corvettes. I think they're cool, but I just think they're grossly overpriced. They never sold them. What they look like? Did they look like the 82s or did they look like the 84s, the newer 84s? Huh. Yeah. Oh, 40. Well, okay. God bless you guys, James. Like I said, 29 years here. So year one. Is it, what's the other one though? Is it Gulfstream? No, I'm trying to think. Corvette America. There used to be a company called Corvette America that sold all that stuff years ago. I'm dating myself now. I used to go to, in my area, we're 4 hours away from Carlisle. So we used to go to Corvettes at Carlisle all the time. And Hershey, with the Hershey show, another 4 hours away. So no big deal. We used to go to those shows all the time. So, all right, guys, I'm coming up on an hour and 10 minutes. That's enough for me. I think it's time to hit it and go see if my new cat will put up with my presence, start introducing myself to it again. So thank you all for joining me, and hopefully I'll get some content on this weekend. I definitely have a lot to do. It's just, can I get the camera out there to film it? So I will try my best, hopefully get some content on, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Everybody take care. James, good to hear everything's well. Timmy, always a pleasure. And we'll talk to you guys later. Roadrunner and everybody else, talk to you soon. I'm out of here. Take care.